everyone, Paul reporting live here from the Drone U headquarters, and I've got some news for you. It seems like in the community, many drone pilots have been reluctant to want to comply with remote ID, as a federal judge might have completely misinterpreted the remote ID rules in confusing a control station and a pilot. What do I mean? Well, remote ID goes into effect September 16th of 2023. That means at the end of this summer. And before or after Labor Day, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is that with remote ID, a drone's position is supposed to be broadcasted, but so is the control station. That control station, well, that's you holding the remote, aka control station. Now, remote ID was supposed to be a digital license plate. But we all know that a license plate on your car provides inherent privacy for you, the driver. If I cut you off in traffic, which I may be guilty of, you cannot figure out where I live. Well, drone pilots have a fear of broadcasting their location. I personally have been accosted in drone missions. I know of other drone pilots that have been accosted, and I know even other drone pilots who have been shot at. They've had their vehicles shot at, and I'm looking at you, utility providers in California. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe we can dig up those stories. That said, remote ID is something that is supposed to create a safer environment for the airspace, and it's supposed to essentially be the bedrock of a foundational system for universal traffic management and for things like urban air mobility. The only issue is that that makes a lot of sense when we're broadcasting a drone's position, but I don't understand why the public needs to see a pilot's position. In fact, I would argue that showcasing a pilot's position is only going to increase the frequency of drone pilots being accosted by fearful citizens who are uninformed to the capabilities of drones. Look, you might be trying to hide your backyard grow-op, but honestly, I don't care. As Americans, we have a right to peacefully protest what we believe to be unjust laws. In fact, I have seen other YouTubers come up with 5 reasons that regulations must make sense in order to work, etc. Well, I think the honesty of the situation here is that ultimately society dictates what laws are enforced and what laws are not enforced. Prime example, cell phones while driving. How many people do you see every day that still text and drive? And it's super annoying, okay? But it also provides opportunities to cut in front of them when trying to get off at an exit with a long line. So thank you, cell phone users. All that to be said, remote ID is one of these laws that a lot of YouTubers and drone pilots have been saying, I don't want to comply. Here's the thing, at Drone U, I've been working for almost 2 years to figure out how to deliver this message to you. I do believe that broadcasting from the drone is totally reasonable and acceptable and creates a bedrock for a system like UTM. Although if you look at what Zipline has done in Africa and what other companies have done in other countries, it still does make you ask the question, are we further behind than other countries when we're supposed to be the aviation leader? I'll let you be the judge. But what I do think is important to note is that we believe that the drone pilot location could even be broadcast to law enforcement, and that would be okay because communication between departments and whatnot is critical for a safe operating environment. But what I don't think is reasonable is showcasing and sharing your pilot's location or my location to the public at large. It's just going to cause more angry people to come accost us, cause problems, get shot at, get beat up, etc. I know some drone pilots even carry firearms, open carry now, and that's fine and dandy, but why not just avoid this situation from the start? Which is why I've come up with a way, and I'm not a lawyer, and I'm looking forward to everyone's responses on this, because I have yet to see anyone online talk about how to legally not comply with remote ID. Which is why I'm saying how to legally avoid remote ID. When you take off and you fly, if you feel like someone is accosting you or you feel like someone is going to come up to you and cause problems that could inhibit the safety of your flight, legally speaking, you can deviate from any rule, which means deviating from remote ID. Well, how do you do that? Very simple. Just turn off the GPS on your remote if you're using the RC Pro or the RC Plus remote from DJI. With other remotes or other drones that are not remote ID compliant, honestly, it's a lot easier. Now, the reason that we put out this video is not to cause a controversy or cause a stir. Frankly, there's already a lot of that out there. I think what we really want to do is, instead of having this extremist viewpoint on not complying with remote ID, we want to provide a very legal and tangible means of non-compliance, because at the end of the day, the FAA's sole purpose is keeping the national airspace system safe. By broadcasting a pilot's location while they're flying does not keep the airspace safe for any means when it's broadcast to the public. Now, we are not lawyers, we are not aviation lawyers, but I would love to hear opinions on this. And I just want to say thanks for joining me today and really talking this through, because we need to answer some important questions that have been overlooked time and time again by the government. And honestly, I'm afraid that none of these politicians or federal judges would ever think twice about remote ID until they had a child flying a drone who was old enough to get their 107, say 16, 17 years old, but then they got accosted by someone with a gun, all because they were broadcasting their pilot's position. That seems like a violation of minor privacy laws as well, but again, I'm not a lawyer. So with the grace and opportunity of living in the beautiful United States of America, we have the right for freedom of speech, and we have the right to peacefully protest. I think this is a legal means of peacefully protesting. So FAA, you'll hear it from me. I have no issue broadcasting my drone's position, and I have no issue broadcasting pilot position to law enforcement only. Unfortunately, I do have a problem broadcasting my position as a pilot to the public. It's not public information. They don't need to know it. And when you have so many uninformed people who frankly don't understand what drones are capable of and what they're not capable of, I am not going to create an environment prone to emergencies. And in order to avoid an emergency, I'm going to deviate from that part of the law. Let me know what you think. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I want to help you. I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this video just because people have different ideas and opinions. Honestly, we teach all of our pilots to have a foundation of safety at a level that no one else is even capable of teaching. I know that for a fact. But I also know that in order to have skills, you have to have a foundation of safety. And I also know that in order to protest, we cannot be extremists about this and say, oh, just don't comply with remote ID. No, because that makes a potentially more dangerous environment for other pilots, pilots flying Cessnas, pilots flying helicopters, and other things. There are real benefits to remote ID when we're broadcasting from the drone itself. My position, not so much. So let me know what you think. I know this is kind of a controversial issue. I will also say I appreciate a lot of the other YouTubers out there who have put out videos. Russ at 51 Drones, great job, bud, great job. So all that to be said, at the end of the day, I already know pilots who have been shot at. It's becoming a more frequent occasion, and in an effort to avoid that emergency, well, I can deviate from the law. Let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me.